All right, y'all. Welcome to my channel. This is gonna be like my first video. I'm Kiara. Um, I am a Southern Belle, but it's gonna be a story time, right? And the story time is dating the nice guy gone wrong. Okay, so I work like in healthcare, and I was working at this clinic, right? And I started working at this clinic, and it was like I would float around to different clinics. So at this particular clinic that I worked at, it was this guy there who was like the manager. We're gonna name him Norbit. Norbit was a short king, glasses, kind of nerdy, but overall like a sweet guy. And he managed that clinic, right? And he worked with all women. And it was two other people that I met in the course of working there. They did my same position. One of them, we actually all became cool. One of them, we're gonna name her Big Bird. If you see her, you know why I named her Big Bird. And then the other one, we're gonna name her Innocent. Even though she ain't that motherfucking innocent. But innocent is cool. But yeah, so let's get on to the story. So I started working there, and that was like one of my favorite clinics to float to because all of my people was there. We was all cool, you know, we got along great. You know, we had a good working relationship like as coworkers. So at the time, Norbit, like we all would talk about like our relationship problems and things like that. Norbit was dating this lady. We call her lasagna. We call her lasagna only because she made him some lasagna one time or whatever. He said it wasn't that great, and so ever since then, the whole clinic we would call the girl that he was dating lasagna. And then he was also going through a divorce from his other lady. We're gonna name her. Well, she don't need no name, but he was going through a divorce and he was dating lasagna, right? So all throughout the time that he was dating lasagna, like he would always like talk about his relationship, and he would say like, you know, I like her, she's sweet, but she just a little homely, she just a little this, you know, like it was something about her that he just didn't really like, but he still was like stringing this girl along, right? And me and the other girls, we all was going through our relationship woes as well. Me, Innocent, and Big Bird. Now, Big Bird and Innocent was already friends prior to working there. Matter of fact, Innocent got Big Bird on at the clinic. I just happened to come in there and met both of them. We was all black women. Big Bird was from Louisiana like me. So, of course, me and her hit it off or whatever. So, we all started like hanging together. Me, Big Bird, Innocent. Norbit didn't really hang with us, but every blue moon, like, he would do nice things for the girls at his clinic. Like he would cook them food or bake them cakes. He just would just go out of his way above and beyond to just do nice things. Like if your car was broke down, he gonna come leave work and come pick you up, that type of stuff. You know, like, there's a reason why he did that. There was a method to his madness, but we'll get to that in a second. So we're working there, whatever, and I would have to sit in the office. I didn't have my own office, so I had to share an office with Norbit. So we would always talk or whatever, and he would always like make fun of me and just like play and joke or whatever, a little quick banter back and forth. We would just cut up in clinic. Well, I'll say I had been working there a couple of months, and what should I start with? We'll say that my birthday came up. Now, my birthday came up. My birthday is in December, so I was at home. I didn't have no plans. This is the first year I didn't go out of town for my birthday, and I was just sitting at home like bored as hell. So Innocent texts me. She's like, "Girl, what you doing for your birthday?" I said, "Nothing, girl. I ain't got nothing going on. I'm just sitting at home." She's like, "Oh, well, Norbit said we should all go out for drinks for happy hour." I said, "When?" It was like today. I was like, "Okay, bet." So we went to like this Mexican restaurant or whatever, and it was like 6 other people there, including me, Norbit, Innocent, Big Bird, and some other girls from the clinic. And like they sung me happy birthday. We just ordered a bunch of like appetizers and all split it. Well, when the bill comes, like Norbit took care of the whole bill. And so I talked to Big Bird. I said, "Why did he take care of the whole bill?" She said, "Girl, he always do that. That's why we always like for him to come." I'm like, "Oh, damn." I said, "Well, that was nice." I said, "Now I feel like I gotta do something for him, whatever." She said, "No, that's just how he is. He's a man." And I said, "Oh, okay, whatever." So life moves on. I had my birthday. Fast forward to the following year. So Norbit is still going through it. with his ex-wife or whatever, and something happened to where his ex-wife was really trying to destroy him. Like, we all work in healthcare, we all have professional license. His ex-wife had reported him to the board of medicine for some shit, stating that he was stealing medications or something like that. It was a big old thing. So he hit me up, because I didn't work at his clinic every day. I would only work there a couple times a month. He hit me up randomly one day and was like, oh, I got to tell you what my ex-wife did. Why don't you come, have dinner with me, blah, blah, blah. I didn't think nothing of it, because he would always have dinner with different girls or whatever. That was just something that he would do, or he would take everybody out. So he hit me up and he's like, oh, let's go have dinner. And at that point, I was doing the Daniel fast, so I wasn't eating out. So I told him, I said, oh, I can't go to dinner this month, because it was like in January. I said, you got to wait till like February when I'm done with the Daniel fast. And he's like, all right, February 1st, we're going to link. I said, okay, cool. Well, just so happened to, like, right before we were supposed to go to dinner, I happened to get sent to his clinic to work. And so I seen him and I asked him, I said, Norby, who else is going to dinner with us? Is anybody else going? He was like, no, just me and you. I said, oh, okay. Now in my mind, I'm like, that's kind of weird or whatever, but I didn't put too much into it, because I'm like, oh, he wants to talk about the stuff with his ex-wife, because that was related to our job. Like, the job had to get like lawyers and stuff for him, because he was one of the head like managers of that job, and they was not trying to lose him due to some bullshit with his ex-wife. So the day comes and we supposed to link, and we go to some spot off of West Ham, Oceanist. We went to Oceanist, like, and he likes nice restaurants. That's just how he likes to dine. So we go there. I had on a cute little black dress. I'm thinking we finna shoot the shit. That's like my friend. I mean, I don't like him like that. I don't look at him like that. Never look twice at him. I just always thought that he was a nice guy. Matter of fact, I used to always joke and say, oh, we need to get us a man like Norby, because Norby likes to pay bills. Like, we would always joke about that. But of course, I would never date Norby. That's not my type. My type is like gym guys, buff guys, tall guys, swag, not Norbit. For reference, Norbit was about 45, 46 years old. He had some gray hairs. He was short and nerdy. So, yeah. Anyway, so we go to dinner or whatever. We're having a good time. He's telling me the whole situation about how he got served with the board of medicine, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, why would she do that? Like, why would your ex go through that type of lit to try to, get you fired and make you lose your license? He's like, she crazy, blah, 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 And I'm just listening to it or whatever. But in my mind, I'm like, damn, either she really crazy or he really did something to this lady to where she's trying to go to the ends of the earth to destroy him. But I just didn't think too much of it. Wasn't none of my business. So at dinner, he also talks about, he was like, when I seen you at your birthday, you was looking kind of cute, and I thought, I might have had a little crush on you. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, here goes the okie doke, here goes the okie doke. I said, a crush on me, and I'm the type, don't tiptoe around stuff. Say it with your chest. Like, if you have a crush on me, say you have a crush on me. So I'm like, I said, you thought you might have had one, or you have one, because which one is it? He was like, I mean, I kind of feel like I do. I said, interesting. I said, I wonder what Lasagna would think about that. Or whatever. And he just started laughing. Oh, Lord, here you go. So I didn't think nothing of it. So after dinner, we ended up going to this other bar. That's like a very low-key bar or whatever. We was drinking at dinner, and then we went to the bar and was drinking or whatever. So we had a good time at the bar. We was just cutting up, acting crazy or whatever. Of course, y'all shit-faced. So we leaving, and he walks me to my car or whatever. And then he kisses me. And I'm drunk. So, listen, I done kissed a few toes in my life. I was with it or whatever. And then I went home. He was like, oh, I should come. Just said, you can't come with me. Nope, it ain't that type of party. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even like him or whatever. But what was I going to say? Like, don't kiss me. Like, I work with him, so I don't want to hurt his feelings. That's like my boss. So, whatever. I go home or whatever. The next morning, I wake up and I'm replaying the night. And I remember, oh, shit, we kissed. Number one, he's legally married. Number two, he's got a girlfriend. And number three, I work with this man. Like, girl, what are you doing? And so I'm like, and I'm going to see him sometime this week when I go to his clinic. So I'm like, damn. I just made a joke of it. I sent like a shocked face emoji like that to him or whatever. And he bust out laughing or whatever. He's like, I enjoyed myself and I really like you. I want you to be mine. I said, boy, I ain't finna be yours. You got a woman. And I just was like, chuckled up to us drinking or whatever. So this was like the first day in February 1st. So then he asked me out. He texted me and he's like, can we hang out for, what did he say? He wanted to hang out again, or hang out for Valentine's Day. I said, you have a girlfriend. No, I'm not hanging out with you. He said, well, I kind of want you to be mine. I said, well, I ain't going to be yours. You got to deal with your situation before I'm coming anywhere near that, which I didn't want to date him anyway, but that was my perfect excuse because, nigga, you got a woman. So next thing I know, like 3 days later, he said, oh, Lasagna's mad. And I was like, why? He was like, oh, I broke up with her. This wasn't 3 days later. This was, matter of fact, he broke up with her on Valentine's Day. But he broke up with her on Valentine's Day because he wanted to take me out. Well, actually, he was already going to break up with her. Like I said, since the October before when I had, or September before when I met him, he was saying how it was something about her that he didn't like, but he just didn't have the heart to hurt her little feelings. But he knew that I was not going anywhere else with him so long as he still, you know, had that situation going. So, he broke up with her, I guess. I don't know. So then he asked me to go out for Valentine's Day. And I went or whatever, like I met up with him and I'm thinking it's going to be like super nice. It was not no nice place. He really did not impress me with Valentine's Day, but it was cool. Like it was just nice. I know that he's a good guy or whatever. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, like you could be cool with him or whatever. Like you don't got to be with the man, but you know, you can get to know him. And this is probably the type of guy, Kiara, that you should be dating instead of dating all these like, you know, fine football looking guys or whatever. Date the medium ugly guy, because you know that one might be the one that is a good catch and wants to be married and wants to, you know, whatever. And I say medium ugly, I say like he was maybe a 6 out of 10. Number one, he was shorter than me and I'm 5'5". And number two, he was older. Number three, he could dress very well. Now that's one thing that he could do. He was always like dressed well, designer down. He's the type that, even though he was short, he would work out, but he was a very small framed person, meaning like I probably weighed more than him. But that doesn't really bother me because I'm the type, like, I don't feel like I have a type. I'm to the age to where I like try to get to know people for who they are or whatever. So anyway, so we hung out for Valentine's Day and then we started hanging out all the time after that. Now, keep in mind, we still work with Innocent and Big Bird. Now, Innocent is like his assistant manager at the clinic, and she always say like that's like her big brother or whatever. So we said from the beginning we was not telling nobody that we was hanging out and kicking it. Number one, our job had a no fractionalization policy, so both of us could get fired or whatever. Number two, bitch, y'all need to be in our business. And I knew they would feel some type of way because, you know, he does a lot for them. Like he would spoil them, he would give them his credit card and like let them go take an hour or two lunch break while he would see patients, things like that. He would just do a lot for them clinic-wise. So they didn't need to know that like we was dating. So I will say maybe a week after Valentine's Day, he asked me to be his girlfriend. I'm like, no, you just got out of a relationship. You're going through a divorce. And we went on 1 or 2 dates. I am not going to be your girlfriend. You need to give it like 3 months and figure out what you want to do with your life and then maybe ask me later on. So even though I told him no, I still was kicking it with him all the time. Like at that point, I was working part-time. So when I wasn't at work, I would either be at his house or he would come to my house and we was kicking it every weekend. So he started to kind of like grow on me, and he would do nice little things like, because I drive a Mercedes truck. So he was like, oh, let me take your truck. I'm going to go get it washed or something like that. So he would get my truck washed, or he would he would put gas in my tank. He wouldn't, like, my tank would never be empty, but like if I was like on a half, he would fill me up back to full or something like that. He would do nice little things here and there, not a lot. Keep in mind, Norbit made probably about $200,000 a year. I was making kibbles and bits because, like I said, I was only working a couple shifts a month. At this point, I was living off of some money that I had made doing like contract work. So I had a bunch of money saved up. So I was living off of that or whatever. But I would work here and there whenever I can get hours. So let's see. Let's fast forward. So we're going to fast forward. Let's go to maybe April. So now we started talking. We went on our first hangout February 1st, and now it's April. I happened to go to his apartment one day, and when I opened the door, it was like balloons and shit everywhere. His whole apartment was decorated, and it was a proposal. No, not a marriage proposal. But I had already told him, like, if you want me to be your girl, you need to wait like 3 months, and it got to be a proposal. Like, you got to do something special. Like, you ain't just finna text me and ask me to be your girl. I was doing the most probably, but no. He got it. So he had put like all these balloons and it said, "Will you be my girlfriend?" It was the cutest thing ever. But I was shocked because I wasn't expecting it, and I really was not trying to be in a relationship. Summer was coming up. I thought I was about to have a hot girl summer, and now this old man wants me to be his little sweet thing. And honey, I was here for a good time, not a long time. So I'm like, But I'm like, you know what? You ain't got shit else going on. You might as well. Matter of fact, he also had a present there for me during the proposal, and it was a $600 Tiffany's necklace with a diamond in it. Which I'm not really a Tiffany's girl, but I thought that was a very nice gesture for somebody that is not my man. So I said yes, and now we're together, right? So things was going kind of okay. There was a few little red flags that I would see. Like, he used to do these things where he liked to buy flowers all the time, right? And I am not a flower type of person. I'm like a money type of person. And I remember he would always get me like these red and white flowers. And I asked him, I said, "Why do you always get red and white flowers?" He was like, "Oh, well, my ex used to like red and white, so I just figured you would like the same thing." I said, "Oh, well, I don't want what you giving to your ex." I know that's like petty, but I'm just like, first of all, I didn't want no goddamn flowers. Like, you making $200,000 a year, you know I'm not working. How about you pay a bill, get my nails done, get my hair done, something like that, you know. Well, I look raggedy right now, by the way. Don't judge me on how I look today. But, like, instead of you spending $100 on flowers, you could just give me the $100, baby. I don't need no extra. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can give that to me. So I kind of had, in a nice way, told him, like, you don't have to give me flowers every month, twice a month. Honestly, if you wanted to help me, you can help. And I'm a Sagittarius. I'm a very bluntly honest person, and people either love that or they hate that. But a closed mouth don't get fed. So I'm sitting here like, you know, just not a lot of money coming in. I'm never the type to ask a man to pay for bills or whatever, or to ask a man for anything. But I also won't date you if you don't do nothing. Like, you know, I'm not working. You know this. I got all this stuff going on. Like, you better be doing something. I ain't just here for free. You know what I'm saying? So I had kind of gently told him that, you know, I would prefer not to have the flowers. If that's all I'm gonna get, I would rather get my nails done or my hair done or, you know, pay a bill. You know, you can just give me the $100. To me, $100 a month, that ain't shit when you're making $200K a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't really shit for you to do. So now, I missed the part. So rewind back to when I first met him. When he was dating Lasagna, he would always brag to me and the other girls saying, "Oh, my girlfriend get an allowance. We always on the second floor of the Galleria shopping designer. I give my girl an allowance of like $500 a month. She don't go for nothing. She don't need nothing. I handle everything." That was him selling his dream or whatever. So keep that in mind. So now I'm not his girlfriend. Allowance where? Because I ain't never got no damn allowance. You know what I'm saying? I don't get nothing, really, hardly nothing, and I'm not working, but I don't ask either. But still, I shouldn't have to ask. So, I'll say April, towards the end of April, matter of fact, Memorial Weekend, so it was maybe May. We were supposed to go, he is from Mississippi. I grew up in Louisiana, so we actually grew up maybe an hour from where each other lived. We were supposed to go out of town to his family's house, because he wanted me to like meet his mom, his cousins, his sister, and all this other stuff. So something happened to where he got upset with me. And he was a type to where when he gets upset, he gets very distant. He will go all day without talking to you. He'll go missing. It drives me crazy because I don't like that. That's my biggest pet peeve, is somebody ignoring me, ignoring my texts, going ghost. I don't know, maybe I have abandonment issues or something like that, but I can't stand it. I'd rather you cuss me out and be mad at me, so at least I know what's up, than you just to go ghost or whatever. And he knows that. I forgot what he got mad at me for, but he was the type that he would get mad for any little thing. Like, I could say, "Why did you leave your shoes right here?" And then he wouldn't talk to me for like a day or two. Like, he got mad for the pettiest little thing, and I'm just like, you got mad over that? Like, I had to really watch my tone and really walk on eggshells a little bit with him instead of just being my normal self, because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. He was a sweet person, you know? So We were supposed to go there, and he got mad at me for whatever reason. And now he all of a sudden he's saying, "Oh, I don't think I want to go. I was looking at the flights. The flights are super expensive, and you know, I don't think we're gonna go down there anymore." I said, "Oh, okay." But in my mind, I'm like, "Oh, he don't want to go because he got mad at me. So now he's rethinking the whole thing, right?" So I said, "That's fine." Like a week goes by, I said, "You know, if you want to go by yourself, that's fine. You don't have to get my ticket. You know, I could just chill." He said, "I don't think I'm gonna go. I don't think I'm going." He went by himself and paid that $600 or $500 for that flight. It was never about the money. It was about you didn't want me to go because you got pissed off at me. He was the type of people who do very passive aggressive petty shit when you got mad at him. Another example, he was at my house. I was starting a new job, matter of fact, a full-time job, and they had sent me all this equipment like computers and stuff, and I needed this desk put together. So he goes to go put the desk together for me. I didn't ask him to, but he like surprised me one day. He saw it in a box and was like trying to put it together. So he wakes me up out of my sleep at like 6 in the morning. This was a Sunday. We were supposed to go to church and then go out to dinner afterwards. He wanted to go to Eddie V's, which is a nice restaurant out here. So he wakes up at 6 in the morning and he's like, "Oh, come see." Like, he's the type, you got to stroke his ego. Like, he wants to be known as the best, the nicest guy. So he wanted to show me the good deed that he did. So I go up there and he had put the desk together. I was like, "Oh, thank you. You know, thank you for putting the desk together for me." He was like, "So you need to look at it and make sure you don't want to move. Make sure it's in the right position." Because I had it in like my loft in the upstairs part of my house. I said, "It's fine. The only thing is like all these wires, they're all tangled. And because it's new, I don't want them tangled. I want to try to keep it neat so that, you know, it's not difficult to maneuver or get around. I don't want all these spider webs of like wires." He kind of looked at me and he like cut his eyes. I said, "What?" He was like, "Nothing." I said, "Am I getting on your nerves?" He's like, "Yes." I said, "I'm sorry." He's like, "I mean, that's all you have to say is you want the wire." I said, "You asked me what I don't like about it. That was the only thing. Everything else is fine." He said, "I mean, I spent 45 minutes trying to put this together." I said, "I understand that, but why would you ask me what I want changed if you didn't want the honest answer? I am very appreciative of you putting this together for me, but can we just fix it a little bit?" And he's like, "Okay, I'll come back and do it." So he goes downstairs. He goes and takes his shower. I stayed up there and just started messing with the wires and clean, straightening them out. My bad, y'all. I was in here boiling something with some crab boil, and I'm allergic to the seasoning, so I start sneezing. But what was I about to say? So he went downstairs to take his shower or whatever. I stayed upstairs and fixed the tangles. Next thing I know, he says, "I'm getting ready to go to church." I said, "Oh, we're not going together anymore?" He was like, "Nah, I'm going to just go ahead and go. You're not ready yet, and I wanted to go to 8 o'clock service." I was like, "Okay, cool." So he leaves. We supposed to go to church and dinner, but he just dipped. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I could tell like something was off. I wasn't sure. Like at this point, like I can peep vibes or whatever, and I could tell, but I didn't realize like he was like super mad at me or whatever. So I ended up going to my church 11 o'clock service, and I was texting him. I said, "Hey, I'm at church or whatever. I should get out of here at such and such time. What time do you meet up? Do you want me to come to your house and then we go together to the restaurant this afternoon? Or what do you want to do?" He's not responding. He's reading my message. I could see that it is read, and he's like not responding. So the whole church service, he never responded to none of my text messages. I had went to church for 11, so I had texted him about 10:30. And then even afterwards, he never texted me back. So I ended up coming home. And so he finally hits me, and he was like, "Oh, I don't want to go to Eddie V's anymore." I was like, "Okay, why?" He was like, "They don't really have a good menu. We could just go somewhere else." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So he proceeds to take me to some little trash brunch spot, like a mom and pop stuff, something like I don't know, like a little Cracker Barrel or something like, not Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel is good, but like a little something cheap. You know what I'm saying? Like something, nothing spectacular. Now we were supposed to have a nice dinner date. So we go there, and I'm not really talking to him. He's not really talking to me. It's like kind of silent because like, if you want to act passive aggressive and ignore my text and be acting weird, two of us could play that game. So I just sat there quiet. And so finally he says, obviously there's something wrong with us. The vibe is off, and I would like to talk about it. I said, okay. let's talk. He was like, I just felt like you're unappreciative of me. Like, I sat and put your desk together and you criticized it. And I said, boo, I would not have criticized. You asked me what I did not like about it or what I wanted to change. And I said, can we fix the wires? If I would have known that was going to make you do all this, you know what I'm saying? I would have never said anything. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a very honest person. So do not ask my opinion unless you want the truth. Period. So it was like a big thing. And then I'm like, and then we're supposed to go to dinner and you talk about you don't want to go because you don't like the menu when that's all you've been talking about for the last 2 weeks is going to Eddie V's. So I was just noticing little passive aggressive stuff that he did. Or whatever. That he did, he didn't let me go home to meet his family. I did end up meeting his family, but not to go home. Then the circus was coming into town. The Universal Circus. And I was like, I want to go to the circus or whatever. We should go one weekend. So, excuse me. I kept asking him to like, look at the tickets. I get the tickets. And he said, I'll look at it. And then he never got the tickets. Well, he has a little nephew that's like 4 years old. And, hold on. He has a little nephew that's like 4 years old. So one day he was like, because I wanted him to do something. He's like, I can't go with you that day. I'm taking my nephew to the circus. I said, wait, you got tickets? He's like, yeah. I said, but I can't go that day. I work. He's like, yeah, I'm not going with you. I said, I asked you to go to the circus. I'm the one that told you that the circus was in town. He's like, oh, you did? I didn't really think you really wanted to go like that. I said, no, you need to get tickets when we can all go because I want to go. And he refused to do it. And he made it like he didn't think I wanted to go. I sent him a screenshot of the text message and I said the circus is coming into town these days. I would like to go. So what makes you get from that text message that I don't want to go? Like, he would just do little petty shit and then make you feel like you was crazy. He would do stuff like, he ain't have no friends. Like, I was really his only friend or whatever. And of course, my girlfriends at that time, which was Innocent and Big Bird, they didn't know that I was dating him. So it's not like I would hang out with him and I couldn't talk to him. And it's like he would do stuff with his friends, but when it was time for me to do stuff with my friends, he would pout and things like that. And like, he didn't really want me to go. And of course, I didn't go because I'm like, shit, fuck these hoes. Like, I'm finna be with my man. If he don't want me to go, I'm gonna stay. That was a big mistake. Me isolating myself from my friends, because that came back to bite me in the end. But anyways, like, he would say like, I'm gonna go hang out with my boys. And I'm like, what boys? And he was like, just one of the guys from the clinic that we worked in. I'm like, okay. And then like, he would go missing the whole night. You know what I'm saying? So he would just do weird things like that would make you question like what his intentions were or what he was actually doing. But I never could really like catch him in nothing. And I'm not the type to go through phones. If I got to go through phones and do all that, I shouldn't be with you. And he was consistent, like in the sense of most of the time when we was good, like he's calling me in the morning. We talk on the way to work. He calls me on my lunch break, and then he's calling me when I get off of work. And I might talk to him right before we go to bed or whatever, if I was not at his house or if we wasn't sleeping in the same bed together. So I always knew when something was up, because when he would get mad, the calls would stop and he would disappear, which was so fucking petty. I can't stand that. You know what I'm saying? Like, be an adult and, talk about your problems like an adult or whatever. And I knew that it was issues because he told me that when he first left his ex-wife, he said that the lady had got mad at him and said, "You a bitch." And he said he just walked out the house and never talked to her again. Never let her apologize. Never, just walked out the house and never talked to him again, and had an apartment by 2 days later. So that means you was already planning to leave, whatever you had going on. And I just told him, I said, that's not a proper way to communicate when you're in a marriage. Like, I used to always tell him, like, how you're supposed to communicate and work through things even if you disagree. But that's not what he likes to do. He likes to be childish and petty. Why I told him I don't like to be ignored, I should have never told him, because I exposed my weakness. So every time I said something that he didn't like or I didn't do what he wanted me to do, he wouldn't go ghost on me and like piss me off. And I used to be saying like, are we good today or are you on your damn period? Because he would act like he had the period when I got the damn period. Like, why is you acting like that lady said, like a bitch? I never said it to him, but that's what I was thinking. Like, but whatever. I digress.